Now that we have our website started in Dreamweaver, it's time to go ahead and start adding some content. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to put a header image at the top of our page. It's just going to be some nice text with a little bit of an application of like a drop shadow, and we're going to go ahead and drop this into our Dreamweaver website. So I'm in an Illustrator right now because I can make a large scale image really quickly, and the text features of Illustrator are a lot better inside Illustrator than they are in Photoshop, but also because I can quickly save an image as a PNG, and I want to make it sure it has a transparent background. So we'll get to that in a minute. But in Illustrator, I'm going to go ahead and create a new file, and this is going to be quick and easy. It's just going to be 1,000 pixels wide by 150 pixels tall. I'm going to go ahead and create that, and then I'm going to go grab my type tool on the left of Illustrator. I'm then going to click anywhere in the artboard, and it's going to put in lorem ipsum, and I'm going to change it to say my last name, and then food preferences, because this website is about our least and most favorite foods. I'm then going to move back to my selection tool so that way it selects it, and over here in the character box of Illustrator, I'm going to be able to change my font. So I'm going to click the drop-down menu where it says Myriad Pro, which is the default, and change it so that it filters in sans serif, and I'm going to do heavyweight. You can pick whatever you want. I don't care what font you use. And then I'm going to go find a font that I want to use. So I'm going to actually go ahead and, let's see here. I'm going to use this font. And then once I've sized my font or put my font in, I can go to the bottom right-hand corner of the text, and I can hold Shift on my keyboard, and while holding Shift, I can drag my click and keep holding Shift and then let go of your click first before you let go of Shift, so that way it keeps it proportional, and I can make this as wide as the artboard. So I'm going to go ahead and make this pretty wide and try and hit the edges of the artboard here. I'm then going to go ahead and center it both vertically and horizontally on the artboard. And then what I'm also going to do is apply a style to this. So under the appearance panel over here, I can actually adjust the coloring. So our website has some pretty interesting colors on it. We did that so we could see stuff. So I want you to start thinking about now removing these colors. We're going to remove these colors, and we're going to make more of a color scheme that would be representative of like our favorite food. So my favorite food is Mazithra, which tends to have like a green garnish on it. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a green color for this. So for my fill here, I'm going to go ahead and click and choose a green color. And then I'm also going to go down here to this little FX button. This FX button allows you to choose an effect, like a drop shadow or something like that, to your text. And so I can click this, and I can go down to like stylize, for instance, and choose drop shadow, which essentially will just give it a shadow. And you can see that it applies a pretty big shadow here. But what I can do is I can go ahead and reduce the amount of pixels it offsets, which is like how far away from the words it is. And then I can reduce how much it blurs as well to give it just a little bit of a pop. I can even change my color too. So I'm actually going to go change it to be a lighter green here and click OK. And if you preview it, you can see what it's going to look like. I'm then going to go ahead and hit OK. And my drop shadow is a little bit outside the artboard, so I'm going to size this down just a smidge to make it so that the drop shadow sits on my artboard like such. So you want to make sure it doesn't go off there on the right side. So notice that it's barely on there. Okay, so now I have my artboard ready to go, and you have this image, but what's important about it is that what I want to do is I want it to look the same on no matter what background it's put on. I want it to have a see-through background. I don't want it to have a white background like I see right now. So if I put it on top of a purple background, the purple will show through. The purple will show through in the middle of these O's. It will show through on the background. If I change it to blue, it'll still show through no matter what. And that's where the PNG comes into play. So first, I've never saved this, so I'm going to go to File and Save As, and I'm going to save it to my Design 1 folder for this class. And what I'm actually going to do is go into my foods website, and next to assets, I'm going to put a new folder called Not for Web. Because what's important is you have files that will go on the web, on a web server for people to see, and files that won't. So for instance, Illustrator files don't need to go on my website when I put them on the web server because other people don't have Illustrator. I want them to see the picture version. So paying attention to file types is going to become really important. So I'm going to go, into my not for web folder, and I'm going to save this as foods_header. It's saving as an Illustrator file, so that's why it's going in the not for web folder. I'm then going to go ahead and save it and accept the preferences, and then I'm going to go and export it, and I'm going to export for screens. When you export for screens, right here you get to pick the name of the file, and I'm going to name it foods_header_image, IMG. I'm then going to click out of it to save that name. And then over here on the right, you want to make sure the format is PNG, no suffix, no prefix, and that create subfolders is unchecked. And then we want to choose where it gets exported to. So I'm going to be exporting it again to my Digital Design 1 folder, Foods website, but this time I'm going to go into Assets, which is the folder where I want to store things that I will be using on my website. This is going to be an image, not an Illustrator file. So this is something I will want to upload to the web server so that when somebody goes to my website, it not only loads the HTML and then the CSS, but it also loads the picture. So it needs to grab all those files and put the puzzle pieces together and show that to the user. So I'm going to go to my Assets folder and select that folder. Once you've got the right name, the right folder, no subfolders, PNG, no suffix, no prefix, you can then export your artboard. Just to double check here, you've got the foods header image file in your assets folder, and then back out in the not for web, you have a foods header AI file. Notice the icon. And right here, I'm just going to go and save it one more time, Control S to save, so it has no asterisk. And you are ready to put an image onto your website.